Very good evening and welcome to a brand new edition of Weekend Primetime News. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. First a look at the stories making headlines tonight. Minor tremors experienced in the Simbalanduwa area. The Minister of Higher Education expresses his condolences on the death of 2 university students. Amir Ali takes his oaths as an Eastern Provincial Councillor. University lecturers say an agreement is needed in order to return to work. An Indian Member of Parliament, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, says that India is committed to the territory. Minor tremors were reported from several areas, including Simbalanduwa, early this morning. Chairman of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, Dr. N.P. Vijayananda, stated that the tremors were recorded at a magnitude of 2.6 on the Richter scale.
The tremors have occurred 15 kilometers northwest of Monragala and 3 kilometers southeast to the Alammulla area at around 5:26 early this morning. The tremors were strongly felt to Simbalanduwa, Kotagoda and Kompitiya villages.
The clay tiles in the roof were shaking, then the earth trembled too. We thought it is an earthquake. Such incidents have taken place before as well. At around 5:15 this morning, we heard an echo. Then the bed and the clay tiles in the roof shook.
Some tremors can occur owing to blasts. Blasts are done for development activities as well. Limestone could be found in the central hills and blasts could occur in those places. Such tremors which occur owing to blasts are also recorded in the equipment. Now we are saying that the Indian Ocean is becoming an earthquake-prone area. Those tremors will be much severe than these. We should panic when it reaches 4, 5 or 6 on the Richter scale. We should not panic about such minor tremors which is marked around 2.6 on the Richter scale. However, if the magnitude keeps increasing, we should take action.
Development. M for Grow A+.
Over 100 houses have been damaged due to strong winds that swept across the Porathil area in Patikalo. According to our correspondent, the winds persisted last afternoon. Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Centre in Patikalo, S. Imparaja, said that measures are underway to provide relief to those affected. He noted that around 300 houses in several parts of the island were partly damaged owing to strong winds during the course of the week. Meanwhile, when contacted the Department of Meteorology, they said that cyclone conditions that prevailed in the Pacific Ocean during the last couple of days had caused these winds. The department further noted that such winds are expected in the eastern, Uwa and north central provinces in the coming few days. Amir Ali swore in as a member of the Eastern Provincial Council before the President today at Temple Trees. Amir Ali contested the Eastern Provincial Council under the UPFA ticket. According to the President's media unit, a group including government ministers was present at the occasion. Indian Member of Parliament Dr. Shashi Tharoor says that India is committed to the territorial integrity and unity of Sri Lanka. Dr. Tharoor, who earlier served as the Under Secretary General for Communications and Public Information at the United Nations, is currently serving as a member of the Indian Lok Sabha. He made this statement during an exclusive interview with News First Siobhan Daniel.
To what extent is India's domestic framework, political framework, to what extent does it impact how India behaves with its neighbors?
It does impact, and not always in a good way. I mean, in one way you could argue in a good way, because of course we have a parliamentary democracy, and therefore policies that are explained to the people and that have buy-in from the political class have a certain enduring value. That is the strength of democracy. But we are also living in India in an era of coalition governance, where governments are deeply vulnerable to the whims and vicissitudes of coalition politics, of partners, of opponents as well as partners who may differ from you. So when an important coalition ally takes a position on a foreign policy issue, it certainly has some consequences. On Sri Lanka, I would say that the Indian view from Delhi is not greatly different from the view from Chennai in terms of what we'd like to see happen. When I say the view from Chennai, there are many views in Chennai, and I'm not referring to the extremist views. But I'm referring to the moderate mainstream position, which is that we are committed to the territorial integrity and unity of Sri Lanka. We want to see this as a flourishing, prosperous and pluralist country. But we want to feel that the Tamil people feel that they have a say in their own political destiny within Sri Lanka, that they have the political rights and autonomy that they crave, and that as a constituent part of the Sri Lankan nation, they have an honoured place.
Well, what are the imperatives that drive India to control China's advent into our region?
Well, frankly, we are doing similar things as well, and so we should. So the Chinese have a port in Myanmar, we are active in a port in Myanmar. The Chinese came into Hambantota here, but the truth is it was offered to India first. We couldn't get our act together enough, or did not gauge that it was worth doing, and so the Chinese did it. So how can we complain about the Chinese having one little pearl here in Sri Lanka when that pearl was offered to India first? I just don't feel that we are about to be choked by a string that is being pulled tight around our neck, as some American geostrategists have been suggesting.
Rahul Gandhi, he seems to have everything, he has it all, and yet he seems not to want any of it.
No, the fact is that Rahul Gandhi has chosen to focus on the party rather than on government. And he has built up the Youth Congress to a much more credible level than it ever had before his time, including through a process of transparent internal elections, which Youth Congress did not have before. And he has, in my view, he's done a good enough job there that he can now turn to government, but that's a view only he can take.
Well, Dr. Shashi Tharoor's complete interview with News First Shamal Daniel will be telecast soon on our network. The Federation of University Teachers Association states that the association has not yet decided to participate in the university academic activities. Chairman of FUTA, Dr. Nirmal Ranjit Devasiri, expressed this view in response to a request made by the Minister of Higher Education, S.P. Dissanayake, yesterday for the lecturers to report to work.
We appeal to whole academic to at least from Monday to Tuesday, you can come back and work. If you are coming, we can pay you arrears also. Otherwise, we are not giving anything for this year.
We do not need his invitation to get back to work. What we need is an agreement. We have no reason to conclude our strike without arriving at an agreement on our demands. There is a base for an agreement now. That is whole discussions with Dr. P. Vijayasundara. We have clearly informed them about our conditions. When they are fulfilled, even if we do not have an invitation, we will return to work.
Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor of the Science Faculty of the Colombo University, Professor Shanika Hirimburegamas, says that the academic activities of the final year students in the faculty will recommence on Tuesday. The Vice-Chancellor stated that this step was taken following a number of requests received from the students. She further noted that a majority of the lecturers of the Science Faculty have agreed to recommence academic activities.
At various occasions, SMS was sent saying academic activities will commence today or tomorrow. The minister stated that 95% of the Kelaniya University are continuing their academic activities. If so, why is there a problem regarding the remaining 5%? Excluding these vice-chancellors and the minister, the entire country is aware that there is a problem. What we have to say is recommence the activities if they can.
Meanwhile, several government ministers also expressed their views on the university crisis.
Protest marches are good. The issue is that it is Ranil Wickremesinghe who is feeding the protesters. He is a leader who attempted to bring about a great calamity in the country. Ranil Wickremesinghe will feed anyone if he could gain something. I wonder how these learned people consume the food provided by him. This is purely the greed for power and not anything else.
දැන් අපි ආචාර්ය මාචාර්යවරුන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට අපි සම්බන්ධ වුණා. මෙන්න බලනකොට පෙළපාලියනවා කවුද එන්නේ?
We got involved in the university lecturers issue. It was then that we realized that a group of politicians who have continuously lost during elections are marching on the streets. Then there is another group who call themselves university students who are also marching. They do not pass the exams and they spend their lives in which they should get married in university.
සාද මදින්න ඕන කාලෙත් විශ්වවිද්‍යාලේ එළියේ විශ්‍රාම යන කාලෙත් විශ්වවිද්‍යාලේ එළියේ විභාග නැහැ. කාටද මේව කරගන්නේ? Tamanටම. විශාල විනාශයක් කරන්න.
We can see that a great conspiracy is underway to create a great destruction. We need to tell these conspirators that there is no room for conspiracies. Every conspiracy has been unearthed.
තුල කුමන්ත්‍රණ වලට ඉඩ නැහැ. මෙතෙක් කරපු හැම කුමන්ත්‍රණයක්ම අතේ මාට්ටුණා.
තරුණ ශිෂ්‍යෝ
Young students and monks are going on the streets screaming in filth. This needs to change. In order to create this change, we should change the education system. We need to create a new education system. We will not be able to solve these issues regardless of how many protests are held under the old methods.
කොච්චර පෙළපාලි ගියත් ඒ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න බෑ.
Our time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day. The remains of the two university students who were killed following a motor accident in the Imbulguda area, Gampa, are currently lying at their residence. The students died while on their way to collect a stack of leaflets which were printed for the protest march which had been organized by the Inter-University Students Federation.
Janaka Bandara Ekanayaka of the Kelaniya University and Sasita Priyankara De Silva of the Ruhunu University died in this manner on Thursday. Janaka Bandara Ekanayaka, a resident of the Naula area in Matale, was a final year student of the Kelaniya University's arts faculty. The eldest in a family of three, Janaka Bandara served as the chairman of the Kelaniya University Students Federation. Sasita Priyankara, who was the other victim, was a resident of the Mutual area and grew up under the care of his grandmother. He was a first-year university student at the Ruhunu University.
අහිංසකයි ප්‍රියංකර අහිංසක දරුවෙක් ප්‍රියංකර 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 ඔකද අපිට අරන් දුන්න උපාධිය අන්තිමට ප්‍රියංකර ප්‍රියංකර ඔකද ඔය අපිට ගේනවා කියපු උපාධිය මගේ නෑ මම බලන්න ඕනේ කියලා තියෙනවා ප්‍රියංකර අන්තිමට මාවයි අම්මාවයි තනි කරා ප්‍රියංකර අනේ ප්‍රියංකර මැරෙනකම්.
The final rites are due to be performed tomorrow at the Madampitiya Public Cemetery. Meanwhile, parliamentarian Ravi Karunarayaka paid his final respects to the deceased yesterday. We are requesting for a fair investigation because this is not just an accident. We request the IGP and the government to launch an independent investigation into the matter and reveal the truth.
Minister of Higher Education S.P. Dissanayake has issued a letter of condolence on the death of the two university students.
Issuing the letter, the Minister of Higher Education pointed out that losing two lives which can add strength and energy for the future of the country is saddening. Minister S.B. Dissanayake notes that political parties who involve students for other activities should stop sacrificing innocent lives in order to fulfill their objectives. The letter also notes that the respective parties should be held responsible for using two intelligent young lives to fulfill political propaganda.
Meanwhile, views were expressed in this regard during a media briefing organized by the Inter-University Students Federation.
ස්වභාවික අනතුරු මේ සේ පෙනෙන අයුරින් සැලසුම් සහගත ලෙස
Silencing people and making it look like accidents is a very successful ploy. It has been used in the world and it is being used in Sri Lanka as well.
බලලා මල්ලෙන් එළියට පයින්නේ දැන්.
Two deaths have taken place. Through this planned accident, they have given a clear message: do not protest or engage in politics. This is what will happen if you do.
සැලසුම් සහගත හදිසි අනතුරු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සුදුවරන් නැවිලා පැහැරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකද මේ කියන්නේ මේවා දැන් මේක තමයි කියන්න ඕන.
Meanwhile, police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana says that the cause of the accident has been confirmed as negligent driving.
According to the post-mortem examination report, he has stated that these deaths happened due to the accident and the skulls of the deceased had been damaged due to accident. So he has confirmed the reason and the cause of the death. So therefore, no one can challenge the opinion of the judicial medical officer. sometimes the various parties or the students of the university, they had made statements in this connection, but those statements are baseless and false.